All right, and then I'm going to start the live and then we'll get started. All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to our midday recharge session. I'm Ciara Martin, and I'm so glad you're here taking a moment to reset and recharge your energy. Whether you're joining from your desk, your kitchen, or even your car, this hour is all about you. So we're diving into simple, practical ways to feel better in your body and your mind, especially if you've been sitting too long or feeling the midday slump. And I'm so excited to have the incredible Debbie Asmus here with me today. Debbie's a wellness expert in a variety of modalities with a passion for healing techniques like cupping and yin yoga and massage therapy. And you'll get to hear more later in the session. But do you want to say hi, Debbie, since you're on?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everyone. Looking forward to this next hour. I think this is a really great idea. Midday. I know a lot of people could use it. So thank you, Ciara, for setting this up.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're I'll just kind of give a rundown of the agenda. I'm going to lead in a quick minute, not 1 minute, 10 minute, still be quick. Chair yoga flow. So this is something you can do sitting in your chair at the desk to help you release tension and find some ease. Then we're going to stream an interview Debbie and I did, just over 20 minutes, and we talk about a gamut of things, but in particularly we're focusing on cupping and yin yoga for lower back pain. And trust me, it's a total game changer, these modalities. So after that, if you have questions, which I'm sure you're bound to have, go ahead and drop them in the comments or the chat box at any time, and we'll be monitoring the chat to get to those. And um, finally, we'll wrap up, and Debbie will share details for her upcoming course. So stick around for that. So let's go ahead and start with a quick chair yoga flow. So all you need is your chair. I got mine here. Your body. Got my body here. And then your breath. So go ahead and come. If you're shorty like me, you probably want to come to the edge of your chair, and that allows your feet to sit flat on the ground and your spine to be tall. So you want a nice long spine. And go ahead and place your hands on your lap, eyes closed, and just bring the attention inward. Feel your feet on the earth, your sit bones on your chair. Feel your spine elongate tall. Feel the sensation of your hands on your thighs. Let the shoulders rise up to the ears and then slide down the back. Dip the chin a little to lengthen the cervical spine. Let's take 3 breaths together in the nose and out the mouth. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. Your longest, slowest breath of the day. Breathing in and out. And we'll begin. Bat the eyes open. Let's invite a little movement. So we'll start with a seated cat cow. So I'll turn sideways so you can see me. Hands on your thighs. Go ahead and inhale. Spread the collarbones wide and look up. And then exhale, round the belly button in towards the spine. Look towards the belly button. Inhale, heart goes up, head tilts back. Exhale, nose looks down towards the belly button. moving at your own pace. Take a few rounds here. Really feel your whole spine curving one direction and then the other. One more round. All right. Now we're going to begin to do some. I want to make sure that you can still see me. Okay, good. I didn't go into the background. All right. We're going to do some full 360 circles. So as you inhale, you come forward, chest comes forward. Then you go to the left, you begin your exhale, belly button towards spine as you exhale, and then inhale as you go to the right and come all the way forward. So you're doing a full circle. Sit bones stay on the chair, inhaling as you come forward, exhaling as you come back. Getting down with your chair. You're doing that chair Sufi grind. All right, other direction. Really mobilizing the spine in all directions. One more time. And come into stillness. And just noticing how moving your spine may have already shifted things for you. Let's do a seated side stretch. So place your right hand under your chair to your side, left arm up and over. You look up to the upper left, let your shoulders drop away from your ears. And as you breathe in, expanding across that left side body. Exhale, going deeper. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. And then drop the left hand to the left side of the seat, right arm up and over. Look up to the upper right. Breathe into the right side body. Exhale. Go deeper. Let it go. One more breath. Lower down. All right, let's take a seated twist. So place your left hand on the outside of the right knee. Right hand comes behind you. Mine's just going to come to the arm of my chair. Depends on the chair you have. And look over your right shoulder. You want to focus on twisting from the belly button, the center of your body, drawing the belly button up and in. As you inhale, the spine grows longer. As you exhale, you twist deeper. One more breath. And then let's switch sides. Right hand comes to the outside of the left knee. Left hand comes back and twist. Look over the left shoulder. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, deepen. One more breath. And unwind. We'll take a seated forward fold now. So make sure you're pushed back from your desk so your head doesn't bonk your keyboard as you come down. And we're just going to let the torso dangle down between the knees. The head comes between the knees. And let your arms hang. You can grab opposite elbows if you want. And let the lower back, lengthen, release any engagement in the neck muscles, shoulder muscles. Let the head hang, release the jaw. And take 3 slow, deep breaths in and out. And then let your hands hang down and slowly roll up, one vertebra at a time. Shoulders stacking over hips. Head comes last. Take a deep breath in. Breathe out. I look like Cousin It here. Okay, let's finish up with some wrist stretches. So let's circle our wrists one direction and then the other. And you can go ahead and flex your hands back one at a time. Beautiful. And then stretch your neck to one side. Drop the right ear to the right shoulder. And then left ear to left shoulder. And then begin to roll the neck. If you find anywhere that's really crunchy or sticky, you can hang out there. Breathing into any spots of tension. And then coming to center, eyes closed as we just notice any shifts in our physical, emotional, mental bodies from when we first started. Open the eyes. Okay, we are going to start our video here. Our interview. So let me get that streaming. Bear with me for a second. It's, should be. I'm going to take my headphones off. Here about uh I know you were a masseuse and you still practice massage and you've been doing that for a long time. So I'd love to hear about how that journey has evolved for you over time because I know it hasn't just been massage and now it's expanding, particularly maybe in the last 5 to 10 years. So,
Okay. Yeah. So I've been a massage therapist for 32 years. I moved here to Boulder to go to massage school. I was 25 years old. Actually, I was 24 when I moved here. I turned 25.
A wee babe.
I was just a baby, yeah. I never really was. Like, no joke, I was a baby. And so I went to massage school and I had actually taken my first yoga class prior to that. I had injured, like this is way back. I had injured myself. I was a dancer in college. So anyway, I'd taken my first yoga class and I remember being like, and it was like in the basement of some rec center, there's a studio.
Like it was early days.
Yeah. It was, I mean, like probably 1990, I think, in California.
Anyway, so then I moved here and I went to massage school and we did some yoga in massage school.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoyed it. And sort of on and off, I would kind of go in and out of doing yoga. And then I hurt myself again. So I healed that. I actually think the yoga was the biggest piece. The massage made me feel good, but it didn't heal me, right? It didn't heal me. The yoga healed me. And so I was 30, fast forward, right? I had my second child at 34. At 35, like a year later, I did it again. I threw out my back. And that time, I'd been doing yoga on and off, right, over the years.
Right.
That is when I became really serious about yoga. Okay. And I went to my yoga teacher. I had been going and I was really into it. And I was like, I want to learn more. And she gave me the books and she's like, do this and this. And then I blew out my back. And she's like, come in here 3 times a week. And back then classes were an hour and a half, like across the board.
Yeah.
There was no other option. She's like, I have a group class 3 times a week. Mm-hmm. It took 3 months that time, but
I had a little kid at home.
I too.
How old were they?
Were you picking them up? 3 and 1.
No. Yeah. With a blown out bag?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was brutal. It was hard. It was difficult for sure.
Yeah. I'm sure there's some mamas who've been there.
Yeah. Fast forward another 12 years. I was 47, I think, and I blew it out again. And that time, and I think it's just age, took me a year.
Ooh. So you went from a week to 3 months to a year from recovery.
Knock on wood, I'm 57. I haven't done it again.
Yeah. Hopefully no more.
I don't think so.
You're ready to be done.
Well, for one, the high impact exercise clearly is not for my body.
What were you doing the last time?
Running. I took up running. I was massage therapist for a long time. I got a lot of runners living in Boulder, a lot of runners on the table, and I would just think, what are these people doing to their bodies? Why are they doing this?
What does it feel like as a masseuse who works? You work with all types of bodies, I would assume sedentary bodies.
Yeah. Around here, athletes. Mostly, to be fair, especially when I first started, I worked in a health club. And I worked on a lot of athletes, like elite athletes, a lot of climbers. I worked on a lot of climbers, a lot of runners. There's so many runners around town. And I mean, it's interesting to work on athletes and runners because it's the mental piece that you see in them that is different from the weekend warrior, right? And to be fair, the elite athletes, I was like, it wasn't my thing. I actually prefer working on the layperson, the weekend warrior, the person that's like, I'm running a 10K, for Thanksgiving or whatever. Yeah. I prefer that. So I took up running because I had gotten a dog who needed a crazy amount of exercise, and I couldn't work out and take care of my kids and get the dog out. And so I was like, I gotta
easy.
Double up.
That's why I dabbled in running. Running's generous, slow jogging.
Oh yeah, running is generous for me too. Yeah, but still blew it up.
I do like it because I just put on my shoes and go, and so it's whenever I get a moment, which God knows when that's gonna come, I can just bounce
it's super easy. You can do it anywhere, and I became a person who loved it. I understood once I got over the initial hump. I was I was like, oh, I get it. I mean, I blew up my back and I kept running. And then that's when I started, the previous one is when I really got into yoga, but I did it again. I stuck with the regimen and I did everything that I had learned before. And, I went to yoga religiously and I did finally stop doing the other things, but you're right. It took me a while to stop doing that because I had for me, it was the mental thing. I was like, I needed it. And even with yoga, I used to say, I still say, the middle time I blew up my back, my kids were young, right? And I actually say, yoga, it literally, not only did it save me, I'm pretty sure it saved my kids.
Oh, yeah.
I was
they need their mom.
Mom, I was a way better mom. I would just go in so fried, and I come out and be like, oh my God, okay, I can actually do this. I can do this,
My husband will look at me and be like, you need to go to yoga.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I do need it. Like, I mean, everybody needs something because otherwise you just get so burned out. And yoga, I mean, obviously we're into yoga. We can talk about it all day. Maybe we will.
Yeah.
But okay, so we have multiple back injuries. I guess that leads me to the question of, does yoga, like a lot of people come to yoga because they have a back injury. So they maybe didn't have experience before, and the doctor says you should try yoga. Is yoga better for preventing back injuries or for treating back injuries? Can it be used for both?
Oh yeah, I would absolutely say both.
Both,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So tell me more about how and how it's different from other modalities, like to the extent that you've had experience with it.
Well, right. I mean, I have a decent amount of experience in that. Like I said, I'm like a fitness junkie. I've done all the things. And so I definitely, I mean, low back pain is like the number one injury in America. And it has been for as long as I've been doing massage, for at least 30 years. There's a lot of upper back, carpal tunnel, now we're getting like thumb injuries and this stuff from, doing our phones. But low back and hip pain is still, I think, the number one.
Why?
Well, for one, the sitting, right? So, of course, like they say, sitting is the new smoking, although they've been saying that for like 5 years now. But so standing, definitely way better than sitting. Right. But in terms of exercise, I think the core stability and strength is imperative for making sure that those injuries don't occur. So, it doesn't necessarily have to be yoga. I just love it. And like I said, the high impact stuff, sort of ruined me. But high impact stuff can be great for other people, but you have to work on the core. And for me, the core is like, thighs to here.
Like the middle of your body.
It's pretty much most of the body except the appendages, and even except it's still part of the legs. Like the hip flexors.
So you're not talking about just abs.
I'm not just talking about abs, but that is a huge part of it, right? And the abs are more than just right here. It's all the stuff on the side. It's the deep muscles. It's the hip flexors. It's the spinal muscles. That's all core stuff. And it's one of the reasons I decided to create a course for hips and low back, because I've done it. My daughter's done it. Pretty sure my son has just done it. And they all did it the same. Yeah, it's so common. And
in yin yoga, you mentioned that you're getting into yin yoga. So do you want to talk a little bit about that and how it's different from the other styles of yoga you've done with regards to flexibility? Yeah.
I mean, I've always loved yin yoga. I just recently started teaching it. So I've just been teaching yoga about 10 years. Even though I've been practicing for over 30, I finally, decided to go get trained to teach. And I've been teaching an online yin class just since like January. And it was sort of by chance. I have some East Coasters that were joining me for an online class, and it was kind of late for them. And I was like, I don't think we should be doing an active practice at like 8:30 at night, you guys. So we switched it, and they, loved it. And it was like a yin nidra class. And
can you tell people that?
Yin is all about lengthening connective tissue. So we hold poses typically on the floor, but there are standing yin poses. I just recently took a yin workshop that I was like, this is a yin pose? Like I didn't realize. But anyway, so it's all about lengthening connective tissue. So we hold the poses for 3 minutes minimum, really, 3 to 5 to 10 minutes. And holding the pose allows the connective tissue to soften. And so the connective tissues is the ligaments and tendons around joints. And you want that to soften because, again, if it's contracted, like as we age, you don't hear about people tearing a hamstring. You hear about them throwing out a hip. Yeah. You hear about them rolling an ankle. It's the joint issues.
You're just stiff when you get older. Yeah. Like as you age, or you look, if you haven't aged, you look at people who have aged and you're like,
well, we're all aging.
They're just, they're like, you get more stiff. Yeah. Things just,
and the joints, and that's what happens is we have those joint issues. So by allowing the connective tissue to strengthen or to lengthen, and then to strengthen the muscles, because you need the strong muscles to also support the joints. It's just, it's a really nice way to do it, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what, and then in my yoga teacher training, they said exactly that. And they also said that yin yoga is supposed to be practiced when your muscles are cold.
Yes.
Because otherwise you're stretching the muscle, right?
Yeah.
But if you do, so you don't want to warm up before yin, or if you're going to do a yin combined with vinyasa class, you actually want to do the yin yoga first, which is kind of counterintuitive.
It is, and you will see classes that are Vin yin, and it's true that it's not the way to go. You want the yin first. It definitely feels
wrong with it. You're just not going to get as much benefit.
Well, you're not going to lengthen your connective tissue.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're just not.
You're just going to be
and so it is weird. You do go into cold, and it's not like we're not like stretching. You're not like going into this full stretch, like go as far as you can go. And in fact, you're only going to like the first or second point of resistance, and you're holding it there. And then maybe after a couple minutes, I typically will be like, so now you could maybe go farther.
Yeah.
And now you could go farther, but it's minuscule. But by doing, like, if you're just stretching a muscle, it goes back, right?
Yeah.
But if you're elongating the connective tissue, it stays. So you can stretch all you want, but you're actually not really doing anything.
Yeah.
Long term.
That's interesting.
You're just constantly stretching.
And it also gets into the fascia.
Connective tissue, is fascia. Yeah, exactly. It's like another way to say it. Yeah.
And I can feel it when I'm doing yin yoga, because I'll feel this kind of like itchy sensation. I don't know if you've ever felt that, but like I can like feel it, and I'm like, ooh, that's the like yummy fascia goodness, and I can feel it kind of like stretching.
Yeah, in fact, if it hurts, you've gone too far.
Yeah.
Like it definitely is not supposed to hurt.
No.
Yin yoga is not like, it's not. Yeah, it's just not supposed to hurt. Good. And it's also traditionally not done with props, which now, because there's restorative, right, which is done with props, and traditionally yin is not done with props. And that's also, a lot of yin classes, and myself included, I use props because I couldn't love a prop.
Yeah. I don't know if you've had this experience, but if anybody hasn't done yin yoga, or yoga, like if you're new to yoga, you may find, like, especially with work in the hips, that there is emotional release. I don't know if you've experienced this.
For sure.
So, like, I've taught women who are like corporate moms, like COO type, super intense, and they do their first yin yoga class. And they're like, why am I crying? It's not to say that you're going to cry, or like, not to freak anybody out, but more to like offer comfort that if you experience this in like one of your gym classes, or doing it at home to YouTube, like this is very par for the course, because, well, there's a lot behind that, but
and it can be a little scary, like if you're in a public class and you're like, whoa, what's happening?
I want to talk about cupping.
Yeah.
So everybody has probably heard of Michael Phelps. He really made cupping.
He did, but it's been around for thousands of years. Yeah, right. Same.
So we're just getting hip to this now. So tell us about what it is.
Okay, so therapeutic cupping. As a massage therapist in Colorado, I'm allowed to do it, and
so I can't do it.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
No. You need a license to do it. Yeah, you're supposed to have.
Well, let me cup you then.
But that said, you can cup yourself.
Oh, you can.
Yeah, and so and lots of people do.
Oh.
And you have a science anatomy background. Like this book is really great. Can I show this book?
Yeah, absolutely.
In fact, you should get this book. This is the book that so it's written by a massage therapist.
The Guide to Modern Cupping Therapy, Your Step-by-Step Source for Vacuum Therapy by Shannon Gilmartin.
Yeah, really great book. I mean, this was super helpful to me. I did another course, but I actually also spoke to my chiropractor and my acupuncturist, who that's where I first had cupping, was from my acupuncturist. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, when she did it, it's super intense. And
yeah, it's really different with different.
It's different people. And so the cupping with the yin that I'll get to is much more gentle than the cupping that you would do if you go into the acupuncturist. Yeah. So cupping, it's been around obviously for thousands of years, and it's a negative pressure, right? So like massage, I'm pushing down. Cupping, we're sucking out. Yeah, we're pulling things out. It vasodilates, right? So it brings blood to the surface. Okay. Pulls out what's called interstitial debris, which is, could be a variety of things.
So interstitial means between cells, between compartments,
exactly,
and debris is just junk. So it's like crap that's just floating around and doesn't have a home.
Yes, yeah, and it can draw it out, and it's why you get different colors. You can actually get different colors, like mostly when we see people and what I'm going for as a massage therapist is definitely different than what an acupuncturist might be going for.
Interesting. I had no idea.
So I am really looking to increase blood flow, to release adhesions between muscles. So like muscles can stick to bones, or muscles can stick to each other, and that means it's adhesed. And so cupping can release that, right? It literally just pulls it off. The shoulders typically get darker, a darker
minor
mark. We call them marks. You don't really want it bruised, but to be fair,
how's it different
looks like
from
it's
a bruise?
I mean, it's a super fine line.
Touch
It can hurt to the touch the next day, often, and usually up here. This is the upper back shoulders is definitely the most sensitive spot. I definitely get the darkest marks in that area, but also in here, when you're removing a cup, sometimes it's stuck. I'm like, okay, there's no vacuum, and it's like I'm trying to move it. I'm like, okay, we're just gonna let it hang out. Like it literally it's not ready. Like it wants to keep drawing out whatever's happening there.
That's interesting.
And then when you massage, you can massage with
I've had
them.
people do that.
Yeah,
I don't really.
Oh, you don't? I love that.
Well, I guess it depends. Sometimes people have done it on my side ribs, and I'm like, ooh, that's intense. Spicy.
Yeah. That's spicy because there's not a lot of flesh there.
It's very uncomfortable.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that does sound intense. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, where there's no skin, or not no skin, thin skin, or not a lot of fat. It's fine. Yeah. Yeah. The low back is different. Yeah, there's a little extra there, but the ribs are meant to be lean, right? So that I'm gonna have to try that on myself now, see what that feels like.
I don't know.
But you can do it on yourself. I don't know if I recommend it. So my acupuncturist, when I go see her, I actually use the same cups as her because she helped me figure it out. And so it's a suction. It's like a little suction
not the
gun.
Ones with the fire.
She used to use the fire ones. I wouldn't use the fire ones.
Okay.
And I feel like there's really not a lot of people. Old school acupuncturists are still doing it, but most people are not doing that anymore. That's my experience. So anyway, when I go see her, she does, let's say, 5 to 7 pumps, and I'm like.
Okay.
And I actually talked to her about it another time because I was working on somebody, and she's like, you want to feel it.
Okay.
She doesn't she's an old school acupuncturist too, but she's like, what's the point? If you're not feeling it, it's not working.
I like it when it's intense.
And I will say with massage,
not on my ribs.
Right. Yeah. Right. I do too. But I feel like, I like to feel it. But I also, in my massage, my philosophy is I want you to feel it, but not so much that you contract any other part of your body to make up for it. So, with her, I'm like, and I can't breathe. I can't breathe deeply because the second I do, I can really feel it. But then, usually you settle into it. But when I do it, I do 3 to 4, maybe 5. I never do more than 5 on anyone. When I do yin and cupping, so when we have somebody
And this is what I'm so excited to talk to you about, because I've never heard of anybody combining yin with cupping before.
So I took a course.
Obvious.
I took a course. It's called Cup Asana. So if you're a massage therapist and interested, she's trademarked it now. So I'm still in the process of being allowed to use that term, but it's what I do. So it's yin yoga, right? So you put somebody in a yin pose, and you cup them.
That's so cool.
It's amazing. But it's lighter. So what it does is it just sort of enhances the lengthening. Because acupuncture and cupping is also working on energy meridians, right, in the body. Right. And I don't specifically, I'm not thinking, I'm working on bladder meridian right now, but I probably am. Because I'm working on, like, this up in here is gallbladder meridian, right. And so I'm going to cup there. And so, maybe my intention, my, cognitive intention is not there, but that is what I'm doing. Right. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so it's just a really, it's gentle. Okay. So you're laying there and you're going to feel it, but not so intensely. Right. You're going to be able to breathe. Because you're already doing something to, soften, elongate your tissues. And then the cupping is just going to come enhance that, bring some more blood flow to the area. Yeah. It's kind of interesting though, because it's like an opposing in my mind, it's almost opposing modality, because in yin, but in a good way, because it's like your yin lengthens your ligaments, your tendons, it gets into the fascia, and you're stretching things out. Right. But then this is pulling it up. Right. So it's a little, but it kind of makes sense, because like as you're lengthening, you're getting more space so that maybe things could move out. Yeah, that is exactly right. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. But when I do massage and I cut people, especially now, like I've been working a long time. In the past, I've worked pretty hard, and I retired basically from massage 5 years ago, and then I went back 2 years ago, very minimally, like 1 day a week, 2-3 massages. That's it. Because my hands were hurting, and cupping has allowed me to do more. So a lot of times, I'll be working on someone and there'll be a spot that I'm like, I'm going to spend all day digging this, and I'll throw a cup on there, and 10 minutes later, I'll go back over it. Wow. That's awesome. And it's gone. That's great. Significantly reduced. That's great. It is very cool. Cool. It's very effective. Okay. So, because what I was going to ask was, well, if somebody's interested in combining, let's say they have a yoga practice, or they're interested in combining yoga with cupping, how do they do that? Yeah. Do they just email you? Well, that's funny. So besides buying the book. My hope is locally is I want to do like workshops in yoga studios, just go in and, in fact, I'm working with a friend on doing it. Like, she teaches a yin sound healing class. I'm so here for that. Hey, how about I come in as like a guest teacher and we do some cupping? And she's actually also a massage therapist. And she was like, oh yeah, we're doing that. So we're going to do that. And then, I'm actually offering privates. Okay. So I just got a new office, and this was part of the reason I wanted to do it is I massage on one side, and then I have my giant 6x6 yoga mat on the other. And so I can do yin. A 6x6 yoga mat, one yoga mat. So it's like a rug. It's massive. Wow, my thought is I can do, yin cupping sessions, privates, actually. Oh, yeah, that'd be wonderful. Yeah. And you're in Lafayette, right? I'm in Lafayette, bodymeetsbalance.com. Okay. Wonderful. Okay. My website. I actually don't think that is up there because it's new. Literally in the process of moving tomorrow. Well, thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me. This was wonderful. And I look forward to chatting with you again. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody.
Can you hear me?
Type them in the chat of the. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, feel free to throw them in the chat. Of either we're on Zoom and Instagram Live, which is lovely. So we're reaching more of you. And I did have a few come in. So let me pull those up right now. Can I do yin yoga every day? I mean, yeah.
Yes.
Debbie, what would you say would be the answer to that?
I would absolutely say yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Please do it every day. And you could focus on different body parts, right? I mean, maybe you don't
Hmm.
do an hour of hips every day.
Oh,
You
that
know,
would be brutal.
yeah, that could be a lot. You know, we discussed that, you know, can release a lot.
Yeah.
But and you want to give your time, your body time to assimilate what's happening. So I would
Yeah.
recommend, you know, different body parts every other day. It's kind of the same as if like you're weightlifting or something, you know,
Oh
you
yeah, that I didn't think about doing it that way. Yeah, I with my own practice, I tend to do yin, I don't know, about 2 or 3 times a week, and I do it right before bedtime because it's a good way to like force myself to get off my phone before bedtime, and then it helps like your mind kind of get ready for like sleep time. So I find that to be like a really good time. And usually the kids are asleep. So there's not somebody like jumping on top of me when I'm trying to do yoga, which is always
right. For me,
nice.
it's the dog. I can't get on the ground if
Yes.
the dog is anywhere around.
Yes. Yes. The dogs love it. The other thing I was going to say is that they found that with restorative yoga practices like yin yoga, that it can act for those looking to, for weight loss or trying to get, oh, there's a baby, or trying to get a so cute, trying to get to a healthy weight range, that those who had restorative yoga practices or slower yoga practices like yin yoga actually were able to drop weight faster, because there's something about like getting into this rest and digest state, or this parasympathetic state, that your body then isn't like, oh, I got to keep everything. I'm in fight or flight and I need all
Right.
the reserves I have. So I thought
Yeah.
that study was really interesting because it was kind of surprising, because I think they even substituted the restorative practice for like a cardio session or something like that, something like very active. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Um,
Yeah, that's good to know.
what are beginner friendly yin yoga poses for back pain relief? Do any come to mind, Debbie?
Okay. Well, shoot, I kind of wish I had my setup
Oh
over on the
yeah.
mat so I could show you. I might be able to bring it over. Um, okay, so I would, you know, you're on, sorry, I'm thinking, closing my eyes thinking. So let's say you're seated on the floor, right? And legs are out in front of you, long. Okay, so it's a seated forward fold, right? And so you hinge at the hip, keep the torso straight, and you come forward, and you're either going to feel it in your low back or your hamstrings, okay? So typically what I say is if you bend your knees slightly in that pose, you will feel it more in your low back. And if you straighten your legs, you're going to feel it more in your hamstrings. So that's like one of the first ones I would do. Um, Another great one is seated, shoot, what is it called? Wide leg pose, I think it's called. So like literally like pretend these are my legs instead of my arms, right? So my legs are out wide, and same thing, like you hinge at the hip, and again, legs straight, you're going to feel it more. Um, and the hamstrings, knees bent more in the low back. But then if you come up and you just do side bend with the legs out wide, that gets the QL, that's your quadratus lumborum, which you get in those other two poses too. But it also gets the side into the side a little bit. and also really into that glute medius if you do the side bend. And that, I mean, honestly, you could do that legs straight or bent as well. You could do, and if the hamstrings are super tight, and by the way, often when there's low back pain, the hamstrings are really tight. Also calves. The low back and the calves have the same nerve innervation. And so if you have low back pain, your calves are often sore or tight, or vice versa. So that's just something to think about. Like if your calves are tight, maybe focus on stretching out your low back a little bit. Hopefully that helps. There's like three right there. Yeah, sound good? I can't hear you, Ciara. Is it me? Can anyone else hear her?
Can you hear me now? No?
There you go. Yeah.
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 It's because I had my laptop closed. I'm like, anyways, my setup's kind of funky. Yeah, I agree. I was agreeing and was saying that the forward folds or gentle forward folds are really good. And child's pose is another one I was thinking of that similarly.
Yeah, so child's pose is fabulous. But it's a pose that, like, for those of us that can do it easily, we don't remember that for some people it's not actually that comfortable sometimes. So
True.
like if you have knee issues or even hips, like your hips might not come all the way back, so you would just bolster. Like basically anything, if something's not reaching where you want it to be, you can bolster. Although I will say that's more of a restorative practice. Yin traditionally, and I think I talked about that in the interview, does not use props at all.
Yeah.
And so
Wild.
I like to think we've evolved a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love child's pose. I could, you've seen the memes, right? Like my yoga teacher said I could take child's pose at any time, and people are doing like child's pose in the middle of the grocery store, and like,
yes, I need to start doing that. That's amazing. Yeah, I was thinking how you're absolutely right, and I've seen a lot of my students have their hips like really high in the air, and like you said, like depending on where your body's at, it can be an uncomfortable pose. And I've had other students who are hyper flexible, and she doesn't like child's pose because like their face is getting smashed into the mat. So I think, yeah, using just even stacking some pillows up under your torso is great.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's all the questions we got. Is there anything else that you wanted to highlight about those modalities? I feel like we did a good intro.
Yeah, I will just say, again, low back injuries are huge. A big piece of low back injuries is core work.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I can't hear you. Did your microphone die? Yep, okay. It just ran out of battery. I remember you saying you were charging it.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yep, that sounds great.
That's so funny. The mic runs out really fast, but the receiver does not. Anyway, I was just asking if I was going to talk about
The core.
the core. Yeah. And then I didn't know if now is the appropriate time to just mention that I am working on an online course that the first part of it is, working on the core, and we always incorporate core, in everything that I do anyway, in terms of yoga. But the core strength is a big piece of low back pain. So often when you have low back pain, you have a weakened or injured, core.
Is
So
that
that's
because your lower back's like trying to compensate? Or I think of it, it makes sense. They're like one's on the back and
well,
one's
the core muscles are like stabilizers, right? So they're low back stabilizers, and there's some
so it
muscles.
has no support,
Yeah,
basically.
there's no support.
So then it's just kind of like the
Yeah. Yeah. And then so you open yourself up to more injury.
right.
Right.
It's going to move in ways it shouldn't
Yeah.
move. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, tell us about your course. That was this perfect segue. I would love, I know people are interested and would love to hear about who is a good fit for the course and maybe some of the logistics too, like when it starts and how you run the course.
Okay, sure. The course is actually, I think, good for everybody. However, it is designed for people with low back and hip injuries, specifically, or maybe more specifically, for people that might have herniated disc injuries. And I only say that because that's sort of how I got into it. And it's helped me so much. I think I mentioned in the interview again that I've cured my own herniated discs exclusively with yoga and soft tissue body work. But anyway, so the first course will be a 4-week online course, and it will be 90 minutes, and we'll do 60 minutes of yoga. And I say yoga because it's not like this isn't a flow class. We're breaking down poses, we're focusing on core strength. Everything will begin with core. Well, actually, everything will begin with breath work and then some core work, and then going into specific poses, each week for low back and hips. And then the 60 minutes of yoga, and then I'm doing 30 minutes of nidra, because when we're in pain, um it's hard to heal when we're in pain. Okay, and like you said, like our nervous system, we go into fight or flight, and yoga nidra is really great for stimulating the parasympathetic nervous system, among other things. And so I feel like really being able to come into our bodies in a relaxed state will help us to heal those injuries. So we'll do that
Absolutely. Absolutely.
every week. So the first iteration of this course is just going to be 4 weeks, and then everybody gets a Zoom private with me as well. Okay, so
Ooh.
that's part of and it can be in person if you're local, but if you're not, it's on Zoom. I don't have a start date, but I was just writing while while you guys were watching the interview. Need to get the date set up soon. Like, I'm really excited to get this going. And I have a few people interested. So, I'm
Wonderful.
probably going to get it going pretty quickly here. Um, Best way to reach me is Debbie at bodymeetsbalance.com is my email, and maybe Sarah, you can send that out. Uh,
Absolutely.
so you can email me for more information. My website is bodymeetsbalance.com. So information will always be up on there as well. And then follow me on, Instagram and Facebook. Instagram is Debbie Asmus _. And unfortunately, it's different from Facebook because my Instagram got hacked a couple years ago.
Oh,
So I
bummer.
just start all over. Anyway, lots of ways to get in touch. Reach out to Ciara.
You're
She
not
can,
hiding.
yeah, I'm not hiding. I'm
Yeah.
really not hiding.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm planning on also bringing this course into some yoga studios fairly soon. Or not the course, I'm sorry, the kapasana, the yin yoga and the cupping into local yoga studios, because that's just it
Yeah.
just so nice. I just
That would
love it.
be like in the Lafayette Boulder area.
Yeah, in the left, exactly. Yes. Yeah,
Okay,
locally.
wonderful. For those of you in Colorado, get
Yeah.
excited.
Again, the website is the best place to, kind of follow, sign up for my newsletter, and I'm always sending out updates for that kind of thing.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. And will the sessions, the weekly sessions, are those live sessions or recorded, or how do you plan
I'm
to?
gonna this first iteration I'm gonna do live, and I will record them. So I will, people will have access to it. So if somebody signs up and they can't make it live, they will get the recording. I always think live is better, but people are busy.
Life
So
happens
life
sometimes.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good to have options.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing, Debbie. Thanks for sitting down and talking with me about all the fun things that you and I love. I
Yeah,
want to
thank
thank,
you.
yeah. I want to thank everybody on the Zoom and Instagram Live for joining us today. I hope you're leaving this session feeling a little lighter, looser, and more recharged. Don't forget to follow Debbie at Body Meets Balance. Uh, or on Instagram, it was Debbie underscore Asmus, right?
Debbie Asmus underscore.
Debbie Asmus underscore. And yes, you're welcome. And she's always putting out a week. I read your weekly newsletter. It's got nutrition tips, recipes, yoga stuff. So highly recommend signing up for that for wellness tips. And check out her course if it spoke to you. If you enjoyed today's session, please share it with a friend who might need some midday TLC also. And stay tuned for more events like this coming soon. We will be having a midday recharge session every week. It's going to be a little wonky with the holidays, but we're going to get into a cadence. So keep an eye on the newsletter and your inbox, and more good sessions to come. So take care, and we'll see y'all next time. Thank you.